Guys, the tariffs have been signed. They're going into effect on Tuesday. Right? And you guys have to understand, no one in the media is taking these tariffs seriously. No, none of them. Not there is no one who is treating it as the economic nuclear bomb that it is. And a lot of people are just kind of like, "Oh, well, it'll be bad, but it'll be fine." It's not going to be fine at all. Okay? And I had assumed that this was going to be a ploy by Trump to, put up the tariffs, but then he'd make massive carve-outs for all of his buddies, everyone who is willing to play ball. But that is not the case, actually. Looking into it, he has made no exceptions. None whatsoever for any companies, which is maybe one of the best pieces of news in all of this. It's one of the best pieces of news. Largely because if he was a competent fascist, he would have had carve-outs for his loyalists. He would have rewarded them. But he's too stupid to know that that is the dynamic. And so what is about to happen is that every single company in America is about to get hit with these tariffs. They pay the tariffs. And then they pass them on to the consumers. Often not just at, the same exact rate of the tariff. Often, with markups, because it inflates the cost on several different levels, right? Without going into all the technical details. So often prices that from a 25% tariff can mean a 50% increase in price, or even a 75, or in some cases a 100% increase in price. Okay? So what is about to happen is that literally everyone in America across the economic spectrum is going to be fucked. Like there's not really any other way of saying it, right? And the good piece of news is that this will likely radicalize basically everyone against Donald Trump. There is not really a way for people to not immediately become enraged by this the second that they feel the full effects of this. And it may take like a week or two to feel the full effects as businesses go through their stock.
Pizza and more rice and beans, disappointed face.
Yeah, maybe. I bought dry beans. I don't know about you guys. But what I'm trying to really convey here is that a lot of people are going to feel this, and it's going to drastically alter their lives, and there's really no one else to blame but Donald Trump. And what winds up happening here is that he alienates not just working class people, which we all assumed was going to, get fucked anyway, but he's also alienating the capital class. I wanted to show you guys this, okay? This is a statement from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, okay? Let's make it big. U.S. Chamber of Commerce Senior Vice President and Head of International John Murphy released the following statement regarding President Trump's announcement that the administration will implement 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico and 10% tariffs on China. The president is right to focus on major problems like our broken border and the scourge of fentanyl, but the imposition of tariffs under IEEPA is unprecedented and won't solve these problems and will only raise the prices for American families and upend supply chains. The chamber will consult with our members, including mainstream businesses across the country impacted by this move, to determine next steps To prevent economic harm to Americans, we will continue to work with Congress and the administration on solutions to address the fentanyl and border crises. So, guys, what are tariffs actually good for? Tariffs are good for like protectionist trade policy, where like you want to put a tariff on a certain good coming into the country.
Buy tacos, because if there's two things America has in spades, it's corn and dead chickens.
True. Basically, if you want to protect an industry in order to like grow your own industry, you could impose tariffs to prevent the importation of competing goods. So then that grows your industry until it's able to compete on equitable terms, at the very least, with other markets. Okay? So that's one thing right there, you know? Um, bu- 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 Yeah, like that's like one of the few things it's good for. Okay? It is not a good way of getting tax revenue because when you impose a tariff it has a chilling effect. You're not going to keep getting the same amount of goods imported in, you know? It is also a sideways way of implementing something that, well, it's a sideways way of implementing a what's called a flat tax. It is a way of implementing a tax that operates similarly to a sales tax, but hits everybody. So it's kind of like having. It's kind of like what Republicans have always fantasized about. Like they want to like get rid of normal taxation, progressive taxation.
Prices will be raised by even 100% US based core because everyone who do import are.
Yep, it's true. Oh man, I lost my train of thought because of that text-to-speech. Oh yeah, it establishes a flat tax rate essentially, with extra steps. So the idea being that you, instead of taxing like the rich more and then progressively less down as people make less money, instead you get rid of the taxes on the rich and then you just have the flat import tax, which is the tariff. But again, very flawed
I
version of
realized
that.
today that even if you try to save money through buying American grown food, the tariffs affect farm equipment
Yep.
and fertilizer, so American grown food will go up in price as well.
Yeah, we have spent the last like 60 years, 70, 80 years building interconnected economies with Mexico and Canada, and Donald Trump is burning that all to the ground. Yes, the flatter the tax, the more relative burden it puts on poor people, which is exactly what is happening here. But the thing that makes a tariff not effective as that type of like flat tax is that people stop importing. You know, they import less, so it starts tapering off as a source of funding for the government. It's very bad on basically every level. And I assumed its main utility would be to effectively be a way to get American businesses in line. And that is not, in fact, how it is going to be used. No carve-outs whatsoever. So I do think that when these hit, it's going to hurt everyone. There's almost no product. There's almost no product in America that does not rely on the interconnected trade system that we have with Canada and Mexico. Basically, everything is going to get more expensive. Some things astronomically more expensive. This process is going to start on Tuesday. And one of the interesting things is that a lot of companies did not actually think that this was going to go through. They did not think that he was actually going to pass the tariffs. And so a lot of these companies have not stocked up. A lot of these companies have not bought a bunch of product at this cheaper pre-tariff price. What that means is that the effects of these tariffs are going to hit a lot faster than a lot of people might think. You know, I would guess that after things go into effect on Tuesday, what will largely happen is that those prices are going to spike immediately. Yeah, it's going to be bad. There's no way of sugarcoating it. What you all need to prepare yourselves for, besides obviously, if you can in the next day or two, get out there and maybe do some, or maybe tomorrow, go out there and do some grocery shopping. You also need to prepare yourself that there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be radicalized by this. There are going to be a lot of liberals who look at, their grocery bills and go, holy fuck, what do we do? Okay? And then there are also going to be a lot of conservatives. A lot of people who voted for Donald Trump are going to be looking at those bills and going, holy fuck, what do I do?
Immigrant rights groups have been disappointingly silent where I am. No DSA either. What should we do? Be willing to organize without infrastructure? Get prepared ASAP.
I mean, honestly, Logan Hill, I can't. I did an entire segment the other day about how I do not have answers for the political time we are rapidly approaching. Guys, what happens when you have, hundreds of millions of people who are suddenly being asked to pay money that they don't have for food, for medicine, for shelter, for the basics? So, people are going to be radicalized in a way you guys have not seen before. And I want you all to be prepared for that. I want you all to be prepared to answer questions.
Elon Musk has access to the U.S. Treasury now. He also has our social security numbers, and possibly other information about us.
Yep.
I'm worried about people on things like Snap and Social Security.
Yep. Witch Night Melody, I put out a video a couple days ago on Friday about the threat of Elon Musk taking over the Treasury. That had... we didn't know it until Saturday, but he had already been granted access to the Treasury. The former head of the Treasury was forced to resign, and the acting head stepped in to give Elon the keys. And as I explained in that video, and I do recommend you guys go watch that video, it will give you an overview of what is at stake there, but to give you the short version, it basically allows Elon Musk to, and by extension Donald Trump, to unilaterally control the Treasury payment system through which trillions of dollars flow in order to keep the government running, in order to keep benefits functioning, checks going out, agencies running, etc. It allows him to turn off the funding for individuals, for agencies, for areas. And it is effectively a way of making Donald Trump capable of circumventing Congress, and also a way of, functionally empowering him and his most dictatorial tendencies. LB, as I just finished explaining, a tariff is basically a tax that you put on importing a good. So if a company wants to import steel, for example, and you have a tariff on steel, then that company, when it buys the steel from a foreign manufacturer, foreign supplier, then has to pay the US government a set amount of money based on the purchase. And that means when they turn that steel into something or sell it to someone else in the United States, they pass on the cost of that tax to every other part of the supply chain, and ultimately to you as a consumer. So, well, trains and bullshit, ultimately, when it says, when you say, like, you pay $1 now, when the tariff goes into effect, you pay $1.25, that's only if you are the person importing that good. If you are the person who is buying the good after it's gone through several other layers of, middlemen and other manufacturing processes, as a lot of natural resources do in order to become products.
Confused Gen Xer here. Did y'all never learn this in history class in high school?
I did, but not everyone does. By the time it gets to you, it can be, 30% more than you used to pay, or 40%, or even 100% more than you used to pay. So, the effect of the tariff gets amplified through the supply chain until it hits consumers. Let's see. Do you know how the tariffs will affect digital goods and services? Are they exempt, or the tariffs only be on physical goods? Genuinely, I do not know, and I don't know that anyone does, because nothing about these tariffs makes sense. My boss said it won't affect us since our product is more local. I work at Meyer. Oh God, yeah, no, you're okay. Okay, good luck. A lot of you have questions here. I guess this segment is me answering your most pressing questions here. Yeah, also, companies exist to make money, and so out of greed, they will inflate costs under the excuse that it is the tariff. So, yes. Yes, it will hit everyone. No one is spared. The stuff we get from Canada and Mexico is in basically everything. Yeah, some companies are already preemptively raising prices. But again, I think the price raising will really begin in earnest on Tuesday. It's scary. Well, we're going into an interesting time where I don't know what is going to happen after normal people who do not pay attention to politics realize what this is, what it means, and who has done it. So I want you all to be prepared to answer these basic questions, because there are going to be normal people in your life who do not pay attention to politics, who get taken by surprise here. They do not understand what is happening, and you need to be the one who's able to be in the room and say, yeah, Donald Trump did that. A tariff taxes goods you import. It's a tax on us. It's not, and this is maybe one of the biggest failures of journalism of the modern era that I can remember in my lifetime, in my entire career covering this. All of the headlines are talking about Donald Trump putting a tariff on Canada, on Mexico, on China. And that gives people don't read the article. And even if they did, it's not immediately clear what that means. But it sounds like you are like Donald Trump is putting a tax on them. But that's not how that works. It's a tax on us. Okay? And so many people in this country do not understand that. I mean, Brianna Huffman, a lot of liberals don't understand it either. You know? Like, a lot of people just don't pay attention to politics. So I want you all who are here tonight to be able to explain this to folks. And remember, they're going to be hurting. They don't need someone in their face going, told you so, neener, neener, neener. Like, that's not useful. That's not helpful. Remind yourself what is helpful to get folks together to actually, do something about this. All right? Because what we're really going to be looking at here and looking for here is a massive, massive public backlash. Because if it goes on, keep in mind, guys, people don't have like a few $100 in their savings to handle an emergency. They don't have the money on hand to suddenly be paying more for their utilities, more for their groceries, more for their rent. Like, people don't have that money. The vast majority of people in America don't have that money. So what happens when that many people suddenly start suffering in a way they are not used to, and they have what they know who's responsible for it? Because I don't know about you guys, but for like the last week or so, I have been furious. I have been unspeakably angry. And that rage is shortly about to be felt by 100 million people? 200 million? Yeah, we're on the edge of bread riots, and we're on the edge of like some actual violence sparking out. Someone on Twitter earlier, or Blue Sky earlier, said something about like along the lines of, I'm going to paraphrase badly here, but like, when something breaks, be careful of sharp edges. And it's like, when you break the most powerful country on earth, those are going to be some hella sharp edges, And I want you all to take care that you aren't on the cutting, you aren't on the end of it that is being cut. Okay? I want you all to be safe, as safe as you can be. Are so many people going to be mad they'll wag their fingers outside the White House? No, I don't think that's the kind of anger that I'm talking about. I think in a country where there are more guns than people, and you have 100 million, 200 million pissed off people who are desperate and have nothing to lose, I don't think you get aggressive finger wagging as a result. I think, growing up, I used to not understand the French Revolution, specifically kind of the massacres during the French Revolution of, aristocrats. I'm getting it now. Like, the level of rage at people who are fucking you over when you need some money to make sure your mom gets the medical care she needs. You need money so you can afford some rice and beans. So we'll be talking about a very, very, very different political climate in a shockingly short order. I think people are going to be surprised at how quickly things escalate if nothing is done about this. I get it, but there's no simmer, it's all boil. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be shocked just how radicalized, the vast majority of Americans can get in a short amount of time. by the way, I'm not advocating for this as a responsible platform holder. I am just saying, like, from my political analysis, the center cannot hold here. It is not capable of holding. Last week, Insure denied my 98-year-old great aunt's heart meds. Jesus, I'm sorry to hear that, Greaves Underground. So yeah, it is a one spicy potato, to say the least, and I don't really have great actionable items for you on this one, with one exception. Okay, and that is, I would encourage you all to check out this Reddit. There is, and I'm not sure to what degree this is going to be borne out, but you know what? I'll encourage you all to attend if you are able. There is a move to have 50 protests in 50 states on Wednesday. You can look up your information on the Reddit that I just linked for you guys. Protests will be in your state capital. Most of them start around noon, but make sure to check your state for the start time. I don't know to what degree people are going to show up to this, but I do think that if you are able, you should show up. It is on Wednesday, Reed. So the 5th. So I don't know, again, I don't know much about the organization putting this together. As far as I know, this is a largely grassroots inspired idea. All I know is that I think it would do all of us some good if you can attend this protest, because the bigger we can make these protests, the louder we can make our voice. And, you know, I think our voice needs to be heard all the way in Washington, D.C. Is there digital stuff? I don't know. This is, as far as I know, this is an in-person protest event. The idea being we need to see as many bodies outside of every capital as possible. Remember to mask up. True. Though check your local and state level laws. Maybe if, again, check your local laws. If your local laws are, you know, anti-mask, consider face paint. Are there regional protests? Look at the link I posted in chat. Okay, I don't have time to go over 50 states. That is a lot of territory. Yes, there is in fact AI scrambling face paint options that you should look into. Works pretty well, I've heard. Leave your phone at home. We actually on the Discord have a really comprehensive protest guide. I recommend you join the Discord, riverboat.gg/discord. And we actually have a pretty great guide written by experienced protest medic for what you should bring to a protest. Yeah, there are some like ways to paint your face in a way that confuses AI algorithms. You know, I don't know how effective it still is given the state of AI, but yeah, you can find different configurations. Do you have that guide anywhere other than the Discord? Not really, no. Anti-AI makeup won't help you with the copyright in front of you. Yeah, but if you have a copyright in front of you, you have a different set of priorities to worry about. Let's see here. What else? Yeah, also, this is the way Donald Trump is currently defending the tariffs on Truth Social. The tariff lobby, headed by the globalist and always wrong Wall Street Journal, is working hard to justify countries like Canada, Mexico, China, and many others to name. And too many others to name, continue the decades-long ripoff of America, both with regard to trade, crime, and poisonous drugs that are allowed to so freely flow into America. Those days are over. The USA has major deficits with Canada, Mexico, and China, and almost all countries owes $36 trillion, and we're not going to be the stupid country any longer. Make your product in the USA and there are no tariffs. Why should the United States lose trillions of dollars in subsidizing other countries? And why should these other countries pay a small fraction of the cost of what US citizens have to pay for drugs and pharmaceuticals, as an example? This would be the golden age of America. Will there be some pain? Yes, maybe, and maybe not. But we will make America great again, and it will be worth the price that must be paid. We are a country that is now being run with common sense, and the results will be spectacular. Yeah, the way a very reasonable person would write a post. You'll also note that Donald Trump doesn't appear to know what a tariff does either. Because keep in mind, he's saying that, even in this statement, he's saying other countries will pay a small price to... Other countries aren't paying the price. We are paying it. Okay? It is not other countries. And when we really look into some of this, right? There's no real answer why he's doing this, okay? Well, rather, there's one reason that we know of that he might be doing this, and he is explaining it on social media. And so far it's been largely dismissed as, like, not worth talking about. But it's only not worth talking about if you think nothing he says matters, nothing he says means anything, which is true. However, if we're looking at, like, for any kind of reason as to why he might implement these tariffs, this would be why. This is caught by Zach Dorfman here. We pay hundreds of billions of dollars to subsidize Canada. Why? There is no reason. We don't need anything they have. We have unlimited energy, should make our own cars, and have more lumber than we can ever use. Without this massive subsidy, Canada ceases to exist as a viable country. Harsh but true, folks. Therefore, Canada should become our cherished 51st state. Much lower taxes and far better military protection for the peoples of Canada, and no tariffs. He thinks that he's going to take over Canada. No. I don't think he's lying here. I think that this is his actual reason. This is his actual reason, guys. He doesn't even know how a tariff works. He's just stupid. Guys, if he was actually like pretending to be stupid while making smart moves to like solidify his fascist rule, he would carve out exceptions for the capital class. He has not done that. He has not done that. So instead, this, I think, is his actual reason. He thinks he can economically coerce Canada into becoming a part of the United States. So, that's what we have. We have a mad king. A mad fascist king. And in a way that is comforting, insofar as he is going to do a lot of damage, but I think he might be too stupid to actually take advantage of that to the fullest degree. Which is, cold comfort. And it is also, I guess, somewhat comforting that in a very short amount of time, due to these meaningless tariffs, he's not even putting conditions on the tariffs. There are no conditions. When asked in an interview what Canada could do for these tariffs to be rescinded, he said nothing. There is nothing that he can do. There's nothing that that Canada can do. There's nothing that Mexico can do. So this is not a negotiating tactic. This is not really for any other possible reason than this diluted one he is putting forward. Is it possible that he's actually dumber than we thought he was already? Hazemaker, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say something shocking. Yes. I think up to this point, I at the very least, I think I have been attributing more intelligence to him than he actually has. Okay? The World Trade Organization is going to sue. I fucking hope so. So, we have possibly one of the world's dumbest men who is losing brain cells by the day. We have what is soon to be hundreds of millions, 100 million, we'll say, incredibly angry people who, I'm going to guess, a significant portion of them possess a firearm. I don't really see how this goes any way that is really that positive. I do think that there is a very strong possibility that he could try and deploy troops against protesters at some point. Probably not on Wednesday. You're probably safe on Wednesday. But I do think that that is a distinct possibility. But also keep in mind that a lot of soldiers are working class folks. And they're going to be feeling the effects of these tariffs. They're going to be feeling the effects of these federal monetary freezes. because they're not smart enough to not fuck with soldier income. So, like, when
Canada getting statehood before Puerto Rico, shaking my head.
Like, I do not think when the order comes down from Pete fucking Hegseth that American soldiers are gonna fire on protesters en masse. Like, guys, like, what Donald Trump is trying to do right now is find a way around Congress via Elon Musk and the Treasury to freeze federal funding. That affects veterans. That affects the VA. They are not smart enough to realize that they need these guys. So, what I am predicting, sadly, and I hope you all know to rely on each other by now and know to reach out to each other for help in this community if you need it. I think there's a decent chance you may be able to find it here. Because what is coming is going to be some tough economic times for a lot of us. But in a way, I want you guys to think of it as an opportunity for us to teach a lot of people about what a better brand of politics looks like, about what a better political ideology looks like, and to do what you can in your communities for the folks around you. Okay? We got to get so many people involved in mutual aid. We got to get so many people involved in mutual aid. And we got to get so many people, like, educated on socialism, frankly. We got to get people learned about a better system where this is not possible because we have democracy instead of whatever the fuck this is. Foreign markets are falling in unison. Yeah, no, Dylan, if these go through on Tuesday, just to put things in context for you guys, we're looking at like Great Depression level event. We're looking at possibly even bigger than Great Depression level event. So, like, what I said last time still holds up. You guys need to go out there and, join with your local Democrats, radicalize them, usurp them, okay, with better politics. Join your local DSA. Interact with other people who are politically active so that you are known and that you know others, because those things will keep you safe. Okay? Having those people have your back is going to be important. And sure, your local Dems might be libby as fuck, but they aren't, like, evil in their core. They can be radicalized to help you. Okay? Their network is going to be important for keeping you safe. Should we be pressuring our governors to make sure our National Guard isn't going to bayonet us while protesting? Yes. You should be pressuring your governors to shore up your rights, because what is kind of looming here in the background that we haven't really talked a whole lot about is the fact that there's going to be a states versus federal government showdown. The federal government with Elon and Donald Trump if again they have this uncontested control over the Treasury. Because I have yet to hear a plan from Democrats that actually encompasses what they will do about this. Other than like one senator writing like a "I'm very concerned" style letter. And like we are beyond a stern letter warning. We like there are actively thieves in the house, you know? So I don't know what they're gonna do about it yet, if anything. But we need to be putting pressure on our governors in order to get them to shore up our defenses. Don't forget to vote in your local governor race. True. One thing I wanted to bring up here is that oh god, Wired, why are you doing this to me? One second, let me pull this up. Meep. Where you at? Where you at? Specific thing I wanted to share with you guys. Oh, did the post get deleted? Boo. Boo. Wait. Maybe it did. Damn it. Very disappointing. Wired has identified the agents who are currently working their way through the Treasury as well as other departments. Yeah. They are also all between the ages of 19 and 24. They are young, they are impressionable, and they have absolutely no idea what they are dismantling. I'm trying to find here what their names are. They put together names and images. Where can I find those real quick? Well, immaterial. You can go read the Wired piece for yourselves. But honestly, folks who are complicit in this administrative coup that is ongoing should feel a lot more afraid to show their faces. You know, like my god. But I mean, guys, going back to the tariffs for a second, I did want to share this with you guys just to really hammer home how no one in the mainstream media, no one in your normie life understands how bad this is going to be. And I want to show you the image of a man who does understand how bad this is going to be. And it's this guy right here, Justin Wolfers, University of Michigan professor of economics and public policy. That is the face of a man who understands what's coming. You know? He understands what's coming, but just as importantly, the person he's talking to and who is asking him questions also does not understand what is coming, and I think is very indicative of where the average normie is probably going to be on this issue as of this moment.
But on the flip side, if my taxes are lower, does that offset those higher avocados and maple syrup?
Wait, whose taxes are lower? I haven't seen a tax plan. Have you?
Well, no, but I mean, like, well, if I have more money in my paycheck, Well, I spend more money on eggs. Syrup.
Wait, who put more money in your paycheck? I'm not getting that.
Well, eventually that's the goal, right? That like the Trump administration is going to help to lower people's taxes.
So this then is a different argument. This is an argument that it's not about the trade deficit, that we're moving from one set of taxes, income taxes, to a different set of taxes, taxes on imports. Fair enough, you might want that. Let's think a little bit about what that does, who that hits. Who imports stuff from Canada and Mexico? The answer is most of us. That's where our fresh fruit and vegetables come from. It's a fairly big share of the spending of middle and working class Americans. Income taxes, of course, really hit those with big incomes. So if we are talking about moving from income taxes to tariffs, what we're talking about is moving from fairly progressive income taxes towards very, very regressive tariffs.
But on the flip side, if my taxes
this is the face of a long-suffering man who knows that no one he's talking to on any of these shows understands what's about to happen, you know? Can we get a feels stupid man? Yeah, here, just throwing this up if you guys want to grab that for an emote. She really doesn't comprehend. Guys, most people don't. You watching right now are part of an elite group of people in this country who understand how bad it is going to be. And right now, even the people who have kind of some idea how bad it's going to be are going out and they're buying fucking eggs en masse. Okay? They're buying eggs.
He looks like a man who wants to be somewhere else, perhaps heaven.
Eggs are going to spoil in like not that long a time. People don't understand, and even the people who do are kind of not treating it seriously. But reading fascism should literally be enough to radicalize people. It should be. But here, I'm going to let you in on the secret. Most people will never read fascism. Most people won't. Most people won't even sit through like a 2-hour-long reading of fascism, which I have on my channel. So if you want me to read it to you, you can do that. I can explain what fascism is to you. So, like, even when you put it out in a more digestible form that is free, people still won't read it, or listen to it, or watch it. Most people won't. So, like, the issue is, most people aren't really going to understand that there is an issue until they go to the grocery store and see that their usual $100 bill is actually now $200. It's going to, you know, they're not going to understand that there is a massive problem until they get the back blown out of their budget. I want to share with you guys a story of one of the moments I had this past weekend. And that is, I went to lunch with my mom. Now, my mom is a lib. She's a libby lib. Last year, she and I had a conversation when she said she didn't understand why people didn't like Hillary Clinton. She didn't get it.
Most Americans can't read. The average adult has the literacy rate of a 5th grader.
I don't know if that's true, but we can get into that another time. My mom, I was just like, well, yeah, but mom, like, you know, your average liberal in the government, like, they don't have any frame of reference for how to deal with this. They don't understand why it's happening. You got people out there who, you know, have an ideology that is incapable of identifying why it's a problem for capital to accumulate among a very small group of people, which is what capitalism does. And the job of liberalism is to, you know, curtail that so that we can all benefit from that accumulation of capital. But the issue is when capital accumulates, some of those people who have accumulated that capital are going to use it to buy political favors to undo the regulations. So you need periodically another New Deal, a New Deal, if you will. And the problem is we're not getting that. And in the absence of that, we get this. Right? And she got it. You know? She finally understood the socialist argument. And she also looked at me and she said, I think there's going to be violence soon. People don't fully understand what's happening, but they understand that it's really bad. And even the people who are usually kind of like, oh, it'll probably all work out, tee-hee, are freaked the fuck out. But they don't know, they have no frame of reference for how bad the economic damage is going to be. So this is your time where you can explain to people who are going to be hurting economically, who are going to be hurting from, you know, a wide variety of things imposed upon them. This will be your opportunity to explain who is doing this, why it's happening, and, you know, like, it's the time to radicalize folks. But also understand that a lot of people are getting close to a breaking point already, and we aren't even at the point where, like, materially a lot has changed. You know? When people start running out of money to pay for food, we're going to be in a very different type of awareness of the problem. We're only 2 weeks in, and I'm going to guess that before we're a full month in, there are going to be people doing a violence. You know? It's, yeah. Yeah, Elon Musk is apparently trying to take credit for shutting down USAID, which is going to lead to people dying around the world. Yeah, it's gonna get real bad, folks. Life or death shit for a lot of people. Yeah, there's you know, like, I am trying to really encapsulate this in a way folks will understand, but it's not just food that's gonna get more expensive, guys. The car manufacturing industry is basically going to die. America will no longer be manufacturing cars. It's like so many industries are going to become non-viable. We aren't going to be able to, like, grow food here. There's... I mean, yeah... TriStar, if there are massive layoffs across all industries, like, accelerate that time frame of, you know, the revolution, I guess.
Soon civility will be too expensive.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, I would highly recommend you go out tomorrow and buy things that are going to last before those prices hit. I was expecting to be a frog gently being boiled alive without noticing, but nah, they just chucked us into a volcano. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Shelf-stable foods. Beans, rice. Honestly, I there's a limit obviously on how much you can stock up, but like ideally if you can get enough stuff for like, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks, I think I think that you'll be able to buy food again after that time period, but like, your selections will likely be slim. Potatoes are pretty easy to grow, I agree. Um yeah, I mean, I feel like even I don't fully understand the effects of this, and I'm trying to like convey it to you guys, but like there's a point at which I'm just like, this problem is too large for me to figure out. Like when the GDP of a country drops by like 1 or 2 points, that's a big deal that can affect like the entire stock market.
I have 2 siblings with type 1 diabetes. I'm wondering how this will affect insulin, like how much of that is imported? Fearful face.
I have no idea how much of it comes from or through Mexico or Canada. But I do know that Donald Trump rescinded protections for medication that were, an executive order from Joe Biden that was to lower the prices of medications. So, yeah. In the United States, if like the GDP drops by a couple points, people freak the fuck out. It causes chaos in the markets. We're gonna be seeing a drop far larger than a couple points. How will this affect free lunches for children in public schools? Genuinely couldn't tell you. I'm guessing, like, it will probably vary from state to state because some schools are funded. Well, a lot of schools receive federal funding, right? But a lot of schools are also funded from property taxes. So those school funding will likely be unaffected in the short term. So that's why I'm trying to say kind of part of the background radiation of all of this is it's setting up a conflict between the federal government and the state governments. And it's not really reconcilable, like I think, for example, public schools in California will likely be largely fine, but how will public schools in smaller states fare? That I don't know. It's working to dismantle the federal government. Yeah. Yep. That is one of the things they want to do. They want to dismantle it to concentrate power in the executive. And guys, this is largely why I've talked so much over the last several months about getting to blue states with, articulated protections for like minority groups, for undocumented folks, because those protections are going to matter a lot more. They're going to come into play when the federal government effectively, I can't even say collapses, does whatever it's doing right now, Does anyone know anything about the proposal to tax college scholarships as income? Nope. But I do know that they're working on trying to fund the government by taxing single mothers. That's a cool thing that the Trump administration is trying to do. Anything to increase the tax burden on the working class. Because that means billionaires have to pay less. So keep in mind that all of this is happening because billionaires want to pay less in taxes and put it on single working mothers. who, are working like 5 minimum wage jobs. Literally just no, it's not no point just to be cruel. It's not no point just to be cruel. The point of it is to profit. Through cruelty, they extract profit. You know?
It's about to be the apocalypse. Everybody vote for AOC for warlord.
But this is I have a nitpick with like the cruelty is the point crowd, which is that no, the cruelty isn't the point. The cruelty is a means to arrive at profit. Like that they are doing it to profit. When managers of the factory had like 10-year-old children stick their hand into the machinery, and like then it got gobbled up by a hodgepodge of mechanical parts. They weren't doing that because they took pleasure in like the maiming of a child. They did it because they made more money that way. Like it is part of how they cut costs in order to maximize their profits. The cruelty to some degree satisfies their base as a kind of a virtue signal to them. But the point is profit. The point is the economic system under which we all labor. Yeah, I think Nagma-chan has got it perfectly. These people, capitalists, hate you and want you to be their slave. If they could, they would eliminate every cost that you incur to them that gets between them and profit. It's true. Some of them maybe loved the chopped up orphans. It's true. It's true. So let's maybe wrap this up, I guess. Because we still got a lot to talk about. I did not order my my tabs properly, so this is taking a bit. I don't know if you guys want to go over Justin Trudeau's speech to the people of the United States. Do you guys want to do that? He gave a press conference about the tariffs and the retaliatory tariffs, because keep in mind it's going both ways. All right, here we go.
They will be imposing 25% tariffs on Canadian exports to the United States and 10% on Canadian energy. A decision that, should they elect to proceed with, should take effect on Tuesday, February 4th. Cette décision met en péril une relation économique historique. Une relation qui a été la source de tellement de richesse, de prospérité et de possibilités des deux côtés de la frontière.
This is the worst thing Canada has ever done to us. Spoken to us in French.
Tonight, first, I want to speak directly to Americans, our closest friends and neighbors. This is a choice that, yes, will harm Canadians, but beyond that, it will have real consequences for you, the American people. As I have consistently said, tariffs against Canada will put your jobs at risk, potentially shutting down American auto assembly plants and other manufacturing facilities. They will raise costs for you, including food at the grocery stores and gas at the pump. They will impede your access to an affordable supply of vital goods crucial for U.S. security, such as nickel, potash, uranium, steel, and aluminum. They will violate the free trade agreement that the President and I, along with our Mexican partner, negotiated and signed a few years ago. But it doesn't have to be this way. As President John F. Kennedy said many years ago, geography has made us neighbors, history has made us friends, economics has made us partners, and necessity has made us allies.
Yeah, Minty Treasure makes a really good point here about the potash. Potash is what is mainly used for fertilizer, guys. 80% of it comes from Canada. We're going to have a bad harvest next year.
That rang true for many decades prior to President Kennedy's time in office and in the decades since. From the beaches of Normandy to the mountains of the Korean Peninsula, from the fields of Flanders to the streets of Kandahar, we have fought and died alongside you. During your darkest hours, during the Iranian hostage crisis, those 444 days we worked around the clock from our embassy to get your innocent compatriots home. During the summer of 2005, when Hurricane Katrina ravaged your great city of New Orleans, or mere weeks ago, when we sent water bombers to tackle the wildfires in California. During the day the world stood still, September 11th, 2001, when we provided refuge to stranded passengers and planes, we were always there, standing with you, grieving with you, the American people. Together, we've built the most successful economic, military, and security partnership the world has ever seen. A relationship that has been the envy of the world. Yes, we've had our differences in the past, but we've always found a way to get past them. As I've said before, if President Trump wants to usher in a new golden age for the United States, the better path is to partner with Canada, not to punish us. Canada has critical minerals, reliable and affordable energy.
By the way, critical minerals like uranium, a thing the United States might need for a handful of reasons.
Stable democratic institutions, shared values, and the natural resources you need. Canada has the ingredients necessary to build a booming and secure partnership for the North American economy, and we stand at the ready to work together. Let's take a moment to talk about our shared border.
He does a really good job here. I know he's on the way out, but he does a really good job here coming across strong, firm, and making it very clear if you're an American who sees, a news snippet of this that Donald Trump is the one fucking us over. Are we the baddies? Excellent job with this statement.
Our border is already safe and secure, but there's always more work to do. Less than 1% of fentanyl, less than 1% of illegal crossings into the United States come from Canada. But hearing concerns from both Canadians and Americans, including the American president himself, we're taking action. We launched a $1.3 billion border plan that is already showing results, because we too are devastated by the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that has torn apart communities and caused so much pain and torment for countless families across Canada, just like in the United States. A drug that we too want to see wiped from the face of this earth. A drug whose traffickers must be punished. As neighbors, we must work collaboratively to fix this. Unfortunately, the actions taken today by the White House split us apart instead of bringing us together. Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods. This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion
Pierre
worth
Polyev
of American.
clasping his hands. Oh, a challenge? I can change that.
Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs and for supporting stream. I really, really appreciate it.
American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives. Ce soir, j'annonce la réplique du Canada. Des tarifs douaniers de 25% sur 155 milliards de dollars
tariff on
marchandises
$155 billion of U.S.
Dès
goods.
mardi, 30 milliards de
Starting
dollars
Monday
de
or
produits américains
Tuesday,
vont être touchés
$30
par ces
billion
tarifs.
worth of U.S. goods will be affected by these tariffs, and in 21 days to give time to Canadian businesses to find alternative
milliards de dollars de marchandises de plus.
There will be not further
Like the
$125
American
billion.
tariffs, our response will also be far-reaching and include everyday items such as American beer, wine, and bourbon, fruits and fruit juices, including orange juice, along with vegetables, perfume, clothing, and shoes. It'll include major consumer products like household appliances, furniture, and sports equipment, and materials like lumber and plastics, along with much, much more. And as part of our response, we are considering, with the provinces and territories, several non-tariff measures, including some relating to critical minerals, energy, procurement, and other partnerships. We will stand strong for Canada. We will stand strong to ensure our countries continue to be the best neighbors in the world. With all that said, I also want to speak directly to Canadians in this moment. I'm sure many of you are anxious, but I want you to know we are all in this together. The Canadian government, Canadian businesses, Canadian organized labor, Canadian civil society, Canada's premiers, and tens of millions of Canadians from coast to coast to coast are aligned and united. This is Team Canada at its best. Plus tôt aujourd'hui, j'ai parlé avec des premiers ministres de toutes nos provinces.
I cannot listen to the French with the barely audible like English translator over it. I can't do it. I won't do it.
Faire tomber
We
les
are
obstacles
also for
faciles
made-at-home
il y a quelques
products.
minutes.
President of
Notre
Mexico
douanier.
to
Ça m'a fait chaud.
respond to
On
be
va
there
être là
for solid all
vivre,
this. I ask
d'être
you
là
to
dans cette and made people explore and
I'm too autistic for it. I'm
a
sorry.
long winter month in its own way.
an artist.
It might stand up for Canada. In this moment, we must pull together because we love this country. We pride ourselves on braving the cold during the long winter months. We don't like to beat our chests, but we're always out there, waving the maple leaf loudly and proudly to celebrate an Olympic gold medal. On a notre propre identité,
We have our
notre
own
propre
identity,
histoire,
our own
nos
history,
propres valeurs.
and our own
Les
values.
Canadiens sont
my God.
accueillants,
Canadians are
ouverts,
welcoming,
novateurs,
open,
ambitieux.
innovative,
On
ambitious.
préfère régler nos disputes
Okay. All right. I think we get the gist of it. I think you guys understand. You skipped some English parts. It's fine. I think you guys understood the gist. Yeah, they're firing back. It is quite literally a set of tariffs targeting mostly Republican states, though it's going to be felt, I think, everywhere. But the tariffs that Donald Trump have implemented are going to be the most devastating to us in particular. Let's see here. We need the actual speech. I don't want her victory speech. This is an 11-hour-long stream. I don't want that.
Why was Ross Ulbricht pardoned?
I don't know. I don't know who that is. Let's see. Guardian News has a 38-second long clip. I don't think that is her speech. Oh, the Silk Road site founder? I don't know. Frankly, I gotta be honest with you guys. I do not care right now. Let's see. I want the actual full speech. Is this it? No, this is a news report. I want the speech. Give me the speech. Oh my God. All right, fine.
Diálogo. El Estado mexicano de información. Entonces,
is this just a loop of like 12 hours of this? Why? CNBC TV 18, why did you do this? I just want... Right, whatever.
Buenos días a todos, a todas. Siempre vamos a mantener el diálogo. Es fundamental en la relación entre México y el gobierno de los Estados Unidos. Ya hay esta mesa de diálogo. Y tenemos plan A, plan B, plan C para lo que decida el gobierno de los Estados Unidos. Ahora es muy importante que sepa el pueblo de México que siempre vamos a defender la dignidad de nuestro pueblo, que siempre vamos a defender el respeto a nuestra soberanía y un diálogo como iguales, como siempre lo hemos mencionado, sin subordinación. Vamos a esperar, como siempre he dicho, con la cabeza fría.
En Veracruz, la radio.
It's really upsetting. It's really upsetting that like for whatever reason I can't find the full speech.